On this episode of my so-called podcast, we'll be going back to October 2nd, 1998.
We're going to look at the album Nuclear Sounds by the band Ash and the film The General from director John Boorman.
The movie never changes. It can't change, but every time you see it, it seems different because you're different. You see different things.
Listener, it's us, Eric Spiegel, and over there is my friend Gary Linton.
That's right. I'm bringing up the rear.
Don't sell yourself short, Gary.
Okay, sure.
I just introduced you.
Yeah.
You introduce me sometimes. It's a democracy over
It
here.
is. That's true.
Welcome to my so-called podcast. We're a bi-weekly-ish podcast where we go back to a week in the 90s and we talk about, pop culture, specifically a movie and an album that were released in said week.
That's right. Yeah, this week we have a little bit of a Irish tinge. It's,
look at the Irish.
If it's not Baroque... Wait, I don't know what I'm going for.
I think that's a pun from Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, yeah, right. But I guess...
Aaron go bra?
Yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking.
If it's
I'm not
not
sure.
bra, don't fix it?
What's the accent, though? Is it called... No, but what's it? There's a name for the Irish accent.
Brogue.
Yeah, if it's not
brogue, then don't fix it.
Yes.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. So we're talking about...
Okay, let's rewind and do that again.
Yeah. Okay.
This week we have a little bit of an Irish accent on the podcast.
That's right. If it's not brogue, don't fix it.
Gary, you kill me with this
stuff.
stuff.
I'm good. We're talking about the Northern Irish band Ash, their third album.
Don't call them Britpop.
Nope.
Don't say it. You want to, but don't do it. They're not Britpop.
And then the film The General by Buster Keaton. That's the one we watched, right?
The classic silent film where he risked his life.
Yes.
What year did that come out?
1928, I believe.
Wait, that doesn't fit this podcast.
Oh, it doesn't. You're right. Oh, no. The General, 1998, from John Boorman.
Oh, it's a different General.
Yes, it's a story of an Irish...
The General. You got to say it with a brogue.
Brendan Gleeson, Professor Moody himself.
Mad-Eye Moody.
Yep.
So I watched the Harry Potter movies, to be sure.
Yeah.
But I also read 4 through 7 before there were movies.
Yes.
I wasn't in on the ground floor. I read 1 before there were movies.
Yes.
And then I read 4 through 7 before there were movies. There was a big lapse because actually 1 did not win me over.
No, yeah, 1's...
Weirdly enough, 3 the movie won me over.
Oh, so you went back to read? Yeah.
So I went back and read them all.
3's a good book and a good movie.
Yeah, 3 through 6 is actually the peak of that whole thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do kind of miss the time where I had my Mad-Eye Moody in my head that was not Brendan Gleeson.
He was definitely not Brendan Gleeson in my mind either. No,
not at all.
He was a lot skinnier.
And that weird eye thing was much bigger.
I think you're right.
The moving eye thing over one eye was much bigger.
Larger. That's how I pictured it also. So, but not to, Brendan Gleeson's a fine actor.
I mean, they made those movies as good as they possibly could have.
Yes.
However, there's a certain personal quality to what you have in your imagination.
That's
for
right.
Reading books.
Well, and that's why I've tried to, and he's fought me tooth and nail. My 10-year-old, oh my God, he's almost 12. Hopefully he doesn't listen.
That's okay. Daddy's a little tired.
Exactly. I told him, read the books before watching the movies, but he wants to watch the movies. So.
Yeah. It's a problem.
Yeah.
They are pretty good.
The books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The movies are pretty good too.
Right. And I had him skip the first. He had already watched the first movie, and I was like, you don't have to read the first book, but let's start on reading the second book.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if I were in charge of the world,
okay, yeah,
of Harry Potter fans, I would definitely have them read everything first. But if I had to do a hybrid, I would combine the first two. You can either read the first book and watch the second movie, or vice versa.
Yeah, I think
because that first and second book is a little repetitive.
Yeah, and Christopher Columbus was so worried about
slavish.
Yeah,
to
he
the
was
text.
so worried about offending anybody that he was like, "I'm just going to film what was in the book."
Plus, he's not a talented person.
Well, I mean. Adventures in Babysitting notwithstanding.
Well, that's true. I mean, Home Alone.
Home Alone, that's right.
Okay, he's a talented person, but he's not a visionary.
No, yeah,
right.
That's correct.
So he was suited to just slavishly filming the books.
Write Gremlins.
I think that he was not using any of those skills when he made Harry Potter.
No, he did not.
But I also think that the first 30 to 45 minutes of that first Harry Potter movie, he totally nailed.
Yeah, right.
Because that stuff had to be there.
Yep.
And so he did that, like, almost perfectly. But then let's make sure we have this part where so-and-so goes to detention and whatnot. But in the middle, it gets a little...
right.
But I will say, I think you lose something in any movie of Harry Potter because it's like, it's supposed to be a whole school year. So you're supposed to read it for a while, go to bed, come back to a few days later.
Right.
Like, it's a whole long experience.
Yep.
Anyway, you've been listening to My So-Called Pottercast, starring Eric and Gary.
What we do on My So-Called Podcast to get people in the mood for the 90s is we'll ask each other some trivial questions and see who can answer them.
So these questions would be about 1998.
Yes, the year the movie and album came out.
I will say that this would be boring if there weren't stakes involved.
That's correct. Yeah, I'm sure.
So the winner, whoever gets the 21st, gets charbroiled steaks from the loser.
Some thick steaks
with the nice and lean.
Yeah, they're good. It's good. They've been delicious. All of our steaks that we've shared with each other, because we're on our fourth or fifth game.
A nice bacon, mutton, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. The mutton is nice and lean.
Yeah.
Okay, Gary, you're winning 12-10. That means I ask you first.
Sounds good.
What movie title was an anagram of Rocket Boys, the Homer Hickam book it was based on?
Did we? Maybe you've asked this one already. And is it October Sky?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
I remember October Sky. Tobey Maguire?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay.
It's also America's Sweetheart. Laura Dern is in that film.
Yeah, she is America's sweetheart.
These days.
So is that an anagram of all those words, I guess?
Rocket Boys. October.
Sky?
Yeah, it's all in
Rocket
Boys.
Boys, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
I did not. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Oh, nice.
You got that right. There you go.
Excellent.
Party on.
Eric, what songstress did over 4 in 10 executives think was a computer in a Fortune 1000 poll? So this is a singer who people thought was a computer I guess when they asked her
in 1998.
1998.
That is a hard question.
Yeah, it kind of, once you know the answer, it's like, oh, but because I wouldn't have gotten this one.
I guess I'm gonna guess Cher because she was auto-tuned in that song.
Okay. So
okay, can I guess?
No, you can't say Cher.
Christina Aguilera.
Yeah, you got to think of somebody. She's new in 1998. See, that's because they don't know
Britney
the
Spears.
singer. That's a good guess. But she was shadowboxing, baby.
Oh, why did people think Fiona Apple was a computer?
Apple, maybe.
That's a weird question.
Yeah, it's a weird question. Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I did not
No,
get that
I'm
right.
sorry. Eric, I'm sorry.
I got that wrong.
Yep.
That's why I'm losing and you're winning.
Ha.
I want to know more about that story.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Well, if only there was something we can look up Fortune 1000 polls.
I mean, she has the Shadowboxer song's got a really earthy, real, like...
It may not even been like...
She said, I mean, I'd think if you polled 1,000 people, they would think she was older than 17, which is what she was when she recorded that shit.
They may not even been playing the song. They may have just been said, "What's Fiona Apple?" And they'd be like, "Oh, maybe, is it the new computer?"
I see. Okay. Have you seen that? I might have asked you on air before, but have you seen that thing where it's like a bot that creates new people that don't exist on the internet?
Yeah, I've seen that. And I don't know if it was
disturbing.
on air, but yeah, it's supposed to be, you can use it for, whatchamacallit, stock photography. Is what the purpose, I think, is what they're selling it as. But it's
just the Twitter bot just says, this person does not exist. So-and-so, 32 years old, Stockholm, Sweden. It's
right.
so
weird.
Anyway.
Anyhow. Anywhere.
Okay. This is topical, Gary.
I love topical creams.
It's not a topical cream. But,
okay.
What did Hong Kong health honchos slaughter 1 million of to combat a flu outbreak?
Oh, okay. This is topical, I guess. That's going to be the swine flu. So, hogs. It's also topical because of Butcher Boy was a movie I was trying to think if we could...
Chickens. Bird flu.
Bird flu. Okay.
Yeah.
So...
Chickens.
All right, I'm going to ask you another question. We're going to do what Cartoon Network show headlines a brother and sister from two different species?
What? Cartoon Network show. 1998.
Yep.
Brother and sister from two different species. It's not Natasha Henstridge species and Ben Kingsley.
No,
species.
no, it's not that at all. It's a Cartoon Network show.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Cow and Chicken. I never watched that, so I don't know if I would have
that
gotten
is
either.
at all. Boy, I am striking out.
I know what that is.
I didn't even know Cartoon Network was that old.
Yeah, I remember watching some Powerpuff Girls back in college because checking that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Was what it was.
People liked it.
Yeah, that's I think they did. So I was like, I'll check it out. I'm not opposed to
baby anime.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you're asking me now.
Well, let's see. How about what company was first to the U.S. market with a digital TV compatible with alt 18 standard and HDTV broadcast formats?
What company was the question?
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Sony.
Panasonic. Panasonic, the name in electronics in 2020.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Do they have a Laserdisc player? Probably.
They probably did. Yeah.
Did you ever have any Laserdiscs?
I did not have any Laserdiscs. Did you?
No, but one of the cooler science teachers at my high school did.
I remember taking some in 1998, taking some a film class with, and the instructor brought out some laser discs.
You got to turn that thing over
Yep.
after like
Side B.
70 minutes.
Yep,
it's time to turn it over.
Yep.
Yeah, the Abyss Special Edition, I think, still has not been released in a different format.
I have the Abyss on DVD. It's a pretty comprehensive disc.
Does it have the extended version with the big waves that are gonna destroy the cities? That part?
No, I don't think it does.
Because it was real long.
Yeah,
and he was sort of pressured into editing it down to
right. Yeah,
like 2 hours 20 minutes or something like
Yeah.
that, which was like super long at the time.
Well, right, and it's kind of like that is. It's still a good movie.
I love The Abyss.
Yeah, The Abyss is pretty good.
There was a thing on Twitter recently where they were talking about.
I should watch that with.
It's so good. We watched it as a
kids.
family movie night
Yeah.
recently. I was like, "There's a lot of bad words in this, but it's really good."
Right. And then I guess you get to see. Well, there's little nudity, but it's done in a life-saving manner. It's
fine.
Yeah.
I went to see that on vacation at the beach, so it was perfect. We
Yeah.
were at the ocean, and but that run where Jim Cameron had the Terminator, Aliens,
Yep.
The Abyss,
Yep.
Terminator 2, all in a row,
Right.
is just unparalleled.
Yep.
Like, there's
And
just
did
nothing
he do?
like
Was he did True Lies after?
I think True Lies was the next thing after.
Next,
That's
which is
good.
a very enjoyable.
And then Titanic. So
Yep.
if you want to have all of those in a row,
Yeah.
I like to pretend Avatar doesn't exist. But
Yeah.
like if you just think of that run,
Right.
it's just unparalleled. They're just all amazing blockbuster.
Well, and I talk about I still think of how I was talking to my high school girlfriend. It's like, look, we have to go see Titanic. People are predicting this movie's going to bomb, and I can't let Jim Cameron have a bomb,
Right.
Because I was like, and
No, I had a soda from the DePere Cinema that said Titanic June
Right.
1997. So it got pushed back 6 months, and everybody's like, "Oh man!"
Well, right, and it was so expensive because it kept going over budget because of the water.
Lots of water.
Yeah, and so I was like, "Look, we got to go support Jim Cameron."
Yeah,
and,
he needs your money.
Exactly. Little did I know that he did not need my
Not
money.
need your money. Anyway, so Panasonic was the answer.
Okay, so I'm asking you. This is a bad card, Eric. So I don't really have anything else.
Hey, that's how the cookie crumbles.
I don't have another pop culture one. So I'm just going to ask you, what North American body of water enjoyed official Great Lake status for 18 days back in 1998?
That is a weird question.
Yeah, a couple of weird ones on this card. I want you to know your geography.
Lake Okeechobee.
It was Lake Champlain.
Oh my! Explain that to me.
I guess it probably flooded and got big enough that they were like, "Hey, it's big enough to be a Great Lake."
Where is Lake Champlain?
It's got to be up near the Great Lakes.
To the listener, Gary is gesturing to the ceiling.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you mean buddy.
Let's see. It's probably the Strait of Lawrence, or you got that whole Lake Huron there, and you got Lake Erie. It's probably east of Lake Erie. Nope, doesn't look like it is. Oh, yeah, it's actually just south of Montreal.
Oh.
And so...
You ever been up there in Montreal?
I have not. I'd like to go.
I highly recommend it. Go in, August.
Yeah, I bet.
We went in August, and it was 100 degrees here with 100% humidity.
Uh-huh.
You go up there, and everybody's speaking French, and there's cobblestone streets,
It's
and
supposed to be
the stop
very
signs say "Arrête,"
European.
and it's like 70 degrees.
Yeah, right. Nice.
Pretty nice,
I
and it's
bet.
arty. It's like there's history and art.
Right. And
French.
the Canadians, Montreal Canadiens,
Yeah.
their hockey team.
Well, they're not playing usually in August.
Interesting. I'm disappointed.
Although I did get a sweet
Expos
hat when I was
I've
there.
seen you wear it.
They sell them all over the place there.
Yeah.
They love the Expos in Montreal still.
Do you think they were happy that the Nats finally won it?
I'm not sure that they were.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that they own that.
No.
I think they're pulling for a new team up in
Sure.
Montreal.
Yeah, they should,
I think they've
they can
disowned the Expos.
They can expand 2 more teams.
Yeah, I don't know.
They definitely need 1 more because, well, no, I guess they would need. So because the Astros went over to the American League because things were, but I guess they're even now. But
I'm super happy the Cardinals didn't go over to the American League where
You
they
know
don't
who-
actually play baseball.
Right. You know who probably screwed up is it was offered to Kansas City first. Hey, Kansas City, you want to go over to the National League? No, that was when Milwaukee. Why did they do that?
Yeah, Milwaukee came to the National League.
Yeah, and then they kicked Astros over to the American League.
Right. Yeah, because it was 82 was the Milwaukee St. Louis World Series.
Right. It's all messed up.
It's weird.
It is weird.
I guess they thought that was too many beer towns in one league.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, that's too much brew.
Right.
But so then
Colorado.
they decided to put them in... wait. That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
I'm doing
now
it backwards.
they're
Because now they're in the same division.
They're all in...
It's the beer division.
Well, Colorado's over in the west. The west. Yeah.
Is that a beer? Coors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but they have a lot of craft brews.
Right.
And skiing.
And legal marijuana there.
That's more of like the Cheech and Chong division over there.
That's true. California, Seattle. Oh wait, no, but Seattle's in the
Chonging
American
it
League.
up
Yeah.
over there. All right. What the hell are we going to talk about next, Gary?
Next is the top singles that we're playing on the radio.
No,
when
I think we're going to talk about the
albums.
Is that
Okay, awesome. Yeah, Eric, you always,
I can
change
mix it up. I feel
like
like this band of any band really is not related to the popular singles of the time.
we'll talk about not at this time. Okay, so this week when
Or in America.
Ash released New Clear Sounds. Number 10 that week was Hole with Celebrity Skin by Hole.
We should do that.
Yeah.
With Jeannie.
Yep.
She'll come back.
Sure she will. I don't know if she will.
If we're talking about Hole, she will.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about a Hole. You're damn right.
Number 9, the Brian Seltzer Orchestra with the Dirty Boogie. Yeah, you remember that? You remember Swing?
You remember when the Stray Cats tried to reinvent themselves?
Yeah, well, it wasn't the full Stray Cats. I think that's why it was just the Brian Seltzer Orchestra. Number 8, Backstreet Boys with their eponymous album, Backstreet Boys.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
This is before Millennium, I guess.
With
their hit single, Backstreet's Back, their first song.
Exactly. The Willennium is what I like.
Oh, the Willennium.
Willennium, yep.
There's a good gag on that. Did you watch that John Mulaney and the Sack Lunch Bunch?
Yeah, we did watch it. Yeah,
I love that one. He's like, I like to call this 1,000-year period we're in the millennium. And the kid's name is Ty, and he's like, I like to call Friday Tie Day.
Number 7 that week was the soundtrack to the hit movie Rush Hour,
starring Thor
and Jackie Chan.
Oh wait, Chris Tucker.
Yes,
I'm thinking of Rush.
Oh, okay.
It'd be cool if Thor was in Rush Hour.
It would be pretty cool.
Starring Chris Tucker, Jackie Chan, and Thor.
Number 6 was Stunt by the Bare Naked Ladies.
Oh, big hit. They factor in that cool Reply All episode
Yeah, they
this
do.
week.
It does sound like a Bare Naked Ladies.
Yeah, it's spit. Wait. It's been
1 week since you looked at me.
It's been.
Number 5 that week was In Sync with their eponymous album.
I don't know much from that one.
I don't know that one
I know
either.
Bye Bye Bye. I think that's from the second
That
album.
is, yeah, that's not from the In Sync album.
In Sync number 1
On
a future podcast.
Oh, wow. Number 4. Musical Chairs by Hootie and the Blowfish. What was on that album?
I can sing you some songs.
I
from
don't
that
even
album.
know if I remember.
That's their third album.
Yeah, I don't know what was on that one. at
The
all.
one that I really liked off that album is called I Will Wait.
Okay.
I'm a Hootie head.
And he's like, and
it
even
goes-
the dolphins make me cry, but I'll wait.
No, you're thinking of their first album.
Yeah. I just think he just keeps writing songs about how the dolphins make him cry.
I mean, Prince wrote about how the doves cry.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you think about it.
It's very similar.
So, this is I Will Wait from Hootie and the Blowfish's album
Musical
what was it called?
Chairs.
Musical Chairs.
Musical Chairs. This is Hootie and the Blowfish from their third album. Nobody knows it, but it was number 4. Yeah.
Touch your hair.
Musical
Hey, listen.
Chairs.
Hootie and the Blowfish, they were still doing the same thing they were doing their
Yeah.
first album. People just moved on.
People
it was
did move
still
on.
good.
Yep.
The nice thing about the third Hootie and the Blowfish album is that you haven't heard those songs a million times.
That's true.
so if you
give it a
listen to it, you can be
it.
like, "Hey, this is pretty good
This
stuff.
is good.
This sounds like I'm
rock and roll music."
It's like I'm in a Saturday night in North Carolina at like a TGI Fridays or whatnot.
Oh, that's mean. Number 3 is
I
Hello
say that
Nasty.
liking Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah, exactly.
But I know what they are. Darius Rucker parlayed that into a successful country music career.
Yep.
He
was a
just
country
sang the
artist.
same Hootie songs with
Right,
like an
yeah.
accent and a twang
Twang it.
and a slide guitar. You had a slide guitar to that song I just played you. Country Gold.
Country hits. Number 3 was the Beastie Boys' Hello Nasty.
Oh yeah. They
Yeah.
were inside a sardine can.
That's right. Number 2 is the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
That had been on the charts for a while at that point.
Uh,
That was the album of '98, I would say.
no, just 4 weeks at this point.
Oh, it was just released. It was a big hit album.
So, where In Sync was on the charts for 26, Backstreet Boys was on for 58 weeks.
Wow, that's actually a hit of 1997.
Yeah. Then number 1 that week was Mr. Manson himself. You know him as Marilyn. Mechanical Animals.
Is that the Dope Show?
No, the Dope Show was a different album. This though is The Beautiful People is on this.
Is it, okay.
Beautiful People is on.
The Dope Show is the one where you get like a smooth white body.
Nope, say that's that.
I think the Dope Show is on Mechanical Animals.
Isn't The Dope Show the name of the album?
No, I think the Dope Show is the hit song in quotation marks from Mechanical Animals.
Oh, okay. Does it say that there?
No, I'll look it up.
No, okay. Let's go.
You look it up.
No, you look it up.
Okay.
No, I'm looking it up. You come up with the next.
Either or?
Yeah.
I think that's your job. No, it's my job.
Yep.
All right.
Oh no, you're right. Antichrist Superstar was
Yeah, we
The Beautiful
reviewed that on
People.
this podcast. That's
right.
why I know it.
And, you're
the
right.
Dope
Dope
Show
Show
is the big
is
song.
Mechanical Animals.
So Mechanical
Yes.
Animals was his sort of androgyny, Bowie kind of a thing. He was trying to stretch himself into more of a weirdo, space oddity kind of a thing.
Yep. Yeah. You know.
He was trying to get away from the blood and guts of...
More power to him for trying to do, a little bit different, but still within his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he was more of he was better at self-promotion than songwriting. This was the problem there.
Yeah.
So Ash are a Northern Irish rock band. They were formed in Northern Ireland in 1989, actually, way back when they were kids. And they had sort of a gradual rise to stardom and fame, maybe being sidetracked a little bit by getting famous too fast at the end of the 90s. And this album is Nuclear Sounds. Really, I wouldn't say that everybody says it's their worst album, but I would say it's a low point for them emotionally, from what I can tell. And so, excuse me. Like me, if you're like me and you've never heard of Ash before...
You've never heard of Ash before?
Would you say Nuclear Sounds is the place to start?
Oh, no, not at all.
Or would you start somewhere else? And if so, where?
Okay, so I mean, if we're going to go full confession, can we get real and honest here?
Maybe if you turn your chair around.
Yeah, okay, let me do that.
Turn your cat backwards.
I had known Ash. I mean, that's not a surprise when I saw that
from Evil Dead.
From 1977, the album that came out
in 1996.
Yeah, exactly.
So confusing.
Was their big hit. Yeah, I had that album. I had that on CD at the time.
And that one contains the one from Life Less Ordinary.
Nope. Life Less Ordinary was its own track.
So they had sort of a life before 1977, though, right?
Right. I'm surprised you don't know this song. This is from their 1997, and I guess this got played on. Do you
remember the time when you woke up from Mars? I don't know.
The Point. I'm pretty sure that's how I knew this. Never told me her name.
I mean, it definitely sounds like very of its time.
Yeah, exactly. There's
I will
also
say that.
This one also, I think, got some play. But that's 1977. That's for maybe another.
That Girl from Mars thing goes back many years before that, though, right? Like, I think they were playing that in concert for years and years before it became a thing.
1996 is when that was released, and you said they were around since 1989.
Oh, they were featured on the way they became well known in America is they were featured on the soundtrack for the movie Angus.
Oh, okay.
Before Life
What was
Less
on
Ordinary.
that? I don't know what song was that.
Jack Names the Planets and Kung Fu were both on the Angus
Kung
soundtrack.
Fu is on 1977. Jack Names the Planets is on their first album, which I did not know. And, okay, so Nuclear Sounds is not the album to listen to, Ash. And
why not? Explain.
It's because I think it's a little harder. I mean, I guess if you're going, if that's what you're into, sure. You know what? Everybody can like what they like. Done. Bye.
That's some great podcasting here.
Exactly.
So if you take an approach of looking at Ash through the lens of behind the music, which I doubt there's an Ash behind the music, but so they're a scrabbling, hard scrabble band in Northern Ireland in the early 90s.
A three-piece.
They kind of, reach some degree of success in their home country. They get to the point where their style of music is fitting with what people are kind of looking for, whether it's more grungy or Britpoppy or whatever.
Well, right. They definitely did ride that wave in 1996.
They get on the Angus soundtrack.
Yep.
And they hit the big time. And from the time that they hit the big time on the Angus soundtrack to recording 1977 to touring incessantly with Weezer as their opening act. They're the opening act for Weezer. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. They they basically get to the point where it's like they captured the brass ring. They're hugely successful beyond their wildest dreams, and they are feeling it.
Right, and that's
And it's in this place where they go to record nuclear sounds.
Yeah, and you can see definitely some of the names of the tracks on Nuclear Sounds is Death Trip 21. And of course track 8 Burnout. So or track 11 I'm Gonna Fall. So.
Right. They were feeling it. And I would say not just feeling burned out and feeling sort of overwhelmed, they were also feeling the influence of touring in America, hearing American grunge rock, touring with Weezer, definitely rubbed off on them.
And I think, Marilyn Manson was big at that time, as we just discussed,
So there's more than one dude in the band. There's 3 people in the band at this point.
Yes. And they also brought in... So they were a 3-piece on 1977, but they added another guitarist for this album. So they're a 4-piece band.
A bassist. A woman bassist.
Okay.
Yeah. She was a very young bassist. And so she was playing with Charlotte... Heather. Oh, you're right. Guitarist.
The guitarist. Yep.
So they had Mark Hamilton on bass.
Sorry.
Mark Hamilton and Tim Wheeler, the 2 main songwriters and lead singers. They sort of switch up who sings.
Okay.
And Rick McMurray was on drums, but they added Charlotte Hatherley on guitar and backup vocals for this album. But I will say, first impressions of this album, I went in cold.
Yeah.
I don't know Ash.
You didn't know Ash?
A Hole in the Ground.
Yeah. I thought you had the Life Less Ordinary soundtrack.
I did not.
No.
I knew Dead Weight by Beck. I like that song quite a bit.
And Oasis's, they have one of their B-sides was on there.
Oh,
also. Yeah.
Anyway.
Anywho.
So I'm starting to listen to this album and I'm thinking to myself, track number 1, Projects. I don't like this at all.
No, Projects wasn't very good.
It's not good. It's bad.
Number 1.
It's a bad name. Yep. It's a bad first song.
Yeah.
It's there's not any vocals, I don't think. It's just a bunch of noise.
Yeah.
It's not good. Number 2, Low Ebb. Sounds like a B-side from a Weezer album.
Yeah.
So much so.
Right.
And not just from any Weezer album. It sounds like it could have come from Pinkerton.
Yeah.
It sounds like, and so much so that I was doing some research into, is this Rivers Cuomo singing vocals on this? What's going on here? It very much sounds like it could have been on Pinkerton. And it's interesting, though, because they were touring with them at the time and very influenced, I think, by their stuff. And then we'll get into track 3, Jesus Says, the lead single.
Yep.
Which is a fun song, I think.
And that's actually, I think, why it's the lead single. I think that's mostly sounds like 1977. It's the song that sounds most like their
I wonder if
album.
Chronologically it's the oldest of these songs.
It could be, yeah. That could be, too.
It's possible.
Yep.
So I at this point I'm confused. I'm like, so are they trash? Are they Weezer? Are they Britpop? I don't know what's going on.
Right.
It's a confusing album, but I'm willing to go along for the ride. But should we hear a little Low Ebb just to get what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely hear Weezer there.
We'll get to the middle here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a long-lost Weezer track.
Right. Yeah, what are you going to do?
I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying that was my impression of the music, which, it's fine. I'm glad they're changing their deal.
Yeah.
Jesus Says sounds like Britpop to me. Sorry, I know you're from Ireland.
No, but
can you speak to that a little?
They're Northern Ireland, so they are British. They think of themselves as British.
But they definitely rebelled against the label of Britpop.
Yeah,
they did not want to be called that.
But I think that's what their album was. That's another reason why I was into them. And then
the only thing I would say about this is that Jesus Says owes just as much to U2 as it does Britpop.
Wow, right. Yeah.
This could be the edge, right?
This sounds like their 1970, their previous album.
Why don't we do that album?
Because I was trying to get both of the...
No, it's okay.
So I did not listen to this. Ash is a band that I had that album, 1977, and there are some bands where you're like, oh, I want to hear everything by this artist. And I enjoyed that album, 1977. I listened to it. I know the songs. But if you were to like, hey, do you want to listen to any more Ash? I'd be like, no, I'm good. I got this album.
Yeah. You felt like you've been there, done that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way I was with the first American Robbie Williams album.
Oh, yeah, right.
The Ego Has Landed.
Yeah, right. Which
I was like...
Rock DJ's a good song, but...
Millennium was on there.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a sample from a James Bond theme. Man with the Golden Gun, maybe?
Maybe.
Anyway, I was like, I like this. I like Angels, whatnot. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't like going to go buy the next Robbie.
Yeah, I didn't even know this album came out back in 1990. I was so...
Even though Butch Vig produced it?
Well, and that's...
Reproduced it.
Yeah, the American. So there's a British track listing, and then there's the American track listing, and remixed by Butch Vig.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
So. Can we talk about how bad track 5 is?
Yeah.
Death Trip 21?
Yeah. Is that the one where...
Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, they just...
I mean, I like it so far. Here we go. This is... I think they were too excited by the grunge. They were just... sounds like a garage band. They're just experimenting.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
And then I wasn't too happy with here's Numbskull, right? I think not needed.
Okay, so here's where I come in with doing a little research. So Tim Wheeler, guitar, vocals, and then Mark Hamilton on bass. They kind of Lennon McCartney back and forth.
Okay.
And it turns out I'm more of a Wheeler head.
Oh, okay.
Than a Hamilton head.
Yeah.
So Hamilton did Numbskull that you just talked about. He helped Charlotte Hatherley write Projects, the first song. He did write Jesus Says, so you have to give him some credit. But Low Ebb is Tim Wheeler. Wild Surf is Tim Wheeler, and then my other two songs I actually kind of liked from this album, number 6, Folk Song, and number 9, Aphrodite, are both Wheeler jams.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of like him as a songwriter the best. But I will give Hamilton a tip of the cap because I think Jesus Says might be the best song on the album.
Okay.
So... I could see that in different circumstances. Maybe these two guys had some alchemy. Maybe in this one they were more separated from one another.
I
it's
don't
hard
know.
To say. But everybody in the band points to this period of recording this album as being like the worst part of their lives. They hated themselves.
And that comes through. That comes through in the music.
It's not a joyful experience.
It's even like an ugly
picture.
Cover. Yeah, it's like the album cover is like, what is that? Why is that even? It's just like them in the car. It's a ugly yellow.
They're not trying very hard.
No.
And the funny thing is, they come back. They come back from this album, this low point, rock bottom or whatever.
Free All
and
Angels.
They become a pretty big deal in the UK as far as lots of singles.
Yeah.
They become more well-known, I would say, as an early 2000s, mid-2000s band than they even were in the 90s, based on their later career, which
Yeah.
is sort of interesting. And I don't think they were much of anything over here at that
No, like it was getting like their first album got some play on the point, and I think I would recommend you go ahead and give that a listen to, or maybe we can do that in the podcast another time. But yeah. I don't
But
know.
they become big. I mean, they're still together. They're still touring. There's some greatest hits albums that span over 30 years.
Right.
And
they just released.
good for them.
They just.
25 years.
They got a. That's their new greatest hits. It just came out this year.
Yeah. So they pulled it back together after this bottom. I mean, a lot of behind the music bottoms is like, this guy killed somebody in a car accident, and this guy died, and theirs was like this album. It's not that bad.
No, exactly. Yeah, you still were able to get it together, make some music.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, it's some of it's all right, some of it's not good, but you're trying. And I think the previous album, this was the album that they were making after the big hit. They've had a bunch of hits, and it's
it's technically their third album, but it's sort of their sophomore slump.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was their, what are we going to do now? How do we keep it going? And so the stress got to them, and they weren't able to pull it off on this one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, Gary, we have a rating system.
Oh, all right. Excellent.
I would say 4 stars would be like an inferno.
Okay.
3 stars is like a roaring fire.
Oh, all right.
2 stars is more like embers.
Yep.
1 stars is just the ash.
Oh, no. The band his name is the 1 star.
I mean, they're just related to, this nuclear sound. Well, I could have done like 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl.
Oh, yeah, nuclear sounds. Yeah. I'm going to give this 2 stars. I'm going to give this a 2-star album.
Yeah, I'm torn. I did listen to it thrice.
Okay.
On the one hand, there's a few songs I like.
Yep.
There's some I really hated.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to give it 2.5 stars because it does make me want to listen to more of their stuff.
Sure.
Which I sort of restricted myself from doing. It makes me curious, but I haven't really done that
Well,
yet.
with it being March and St. Patrick's Day, you should listen to more Ash.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll expose my whole family to more Ash.
Yeah, do that.
Well, hey, you guys, thanks for hanging in there. We will be right back after a break. Should we take a break, Gary?
Yeah, let's take a break.
We're going to take a break.
Come to confess a few crimes. You know why they sent me here, don't you?
Because of me, I hope.
Yes, because of you. Because they think I know your wiles and your ways. And I do.
It was my life. Well, my message was just the street.
You deny that you're Martin Cowell's crime boss known as the General, wanted for armed robbery.
You look great in the telly.
And now I'm incomplete.
Unless you vacate this site within 48 hours, you will be forcibly removed.
Well, somebody please shed some light.
Let's go.
It used to be my life. It used to be uptight.
Hey, welcome back to my Post-Roll Call podcast. Hey. I'm still Gary Linton. You know that, though.
Right. And over here, it's your boy, Eric Spiegel.
It's your boy, Troy.
And we are coming at you from October 2nd, 1998.
That's right.
The year of the Ash.
Yeah. Ash released their third album, Nuclear Sounds. And at the New York Film Festival was a premiere of a little movie called The General.
Right.
From
John Boorman's joint.
Yep.
Called The General.
I'm sure people were like, oh, I hope it's as good as Exorcist 2, The Heretic.
They were like, no. I hope it's just as good as Deliverance.
Yep. They're like, do you think it's going to be in the Excalibur universe? The General?
The extended Point Blank-averse?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, I think most people hoped that it was in the Zardoz-averse.
You're the Zardoz, man.
They were like, what? That's Easter eggs after the end credits of Zardoz. Made me kind of hope that the General was related in some way.
That's right. When Zardoz goes and it's like, I need you, the General.
I mean, if you watch the Emerald Forest really closely, you can see the tie-ins to the General, in the background.
Exactly.
He's planting those Easter eggs. I mean, the Boorman-averse is incredible. It spans decades.
Hollywood's such a joke these days. The movie, film franchises.
It's a business, my friend.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? We'll find somebody that has talent making their own thing, and we'll steal 20 to 30% of that and inject it into our McBurger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I guess it's working for them.
Oh, it's working.
Rule Hollywood.
It's like a whole streaming channel now.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. This is the film John Boorman made. Eric, what else was at the theater while New Yorkers were going to see the General?
New Yorkers were like, you can take your top 10 movies and shove them. We're going to go see the New York Film Festival movies. But the rest of us schmoes.
Exactly.
We were going to see number 10, Simon Birch.
Oh, yeah.
You know what that is?
Yeah, it was the Prayer for Owen Meany.
Yeah, they took A Prayer for Owen Meany and then maybe the first 10 or 15% of it, turned it into a movie, and then added some other stuff, and John Irving was like, you are not allowed to call this A Prayer for Owen Meany. You have to call it something else because it's not my book anymore.
There was in the late 90s, John Irving had a bit of a lot of his movies. Well, I guess 2, 3? Was it 3 of them?
Well, he's had a bit of a fraught relationship with the film industry.
Yeah.
He had there was a Garp movie in the early '80s with Robin Williams.
Yeah,
and,
which is
Glenn
fine.
Close and
John Lithgow
with some a very, very early depiction of a transgender character sympathetically.
Yeah.
And then he followed up Garp with, I believe, The Hotel New Hampshire, which is mostly a family movie, but also sort of an incest romance.
Yeah.
So that was not very filmable. However, they did make a movie out of it.
Yeah, right.
Jodie Foster.
Oh.
He's got a tricky appeal to adaptation because I think a lot of what... Are you an Irving head?
I've read Garp, and I started to read A Prayer for Owen Meany, but I'm not. No, I guess I'm not an Irving head.
So I got Garp kind of pushed into my hands in college, and then I loved it. I read
Garp is great.
Owen Meany. I read The Cider House Rules, which is really, really good.
Okay.
And then Widow for 1 Year is also quite good.
Yeah, and then he, I think there's a circus. It's
Son of a Circus.
Yeah.
That I don't like. I don't like that book. But I would have said at one point in my life, and for a good chunk, maybe a decade or so, my favorite author. Prayer for Owen Meany is probably his best.
Oh, really?
And Garp is maybe the most entertaining.
Yeah, Garp's. I enjoyed The World According to Garp quite a bit.
Widow for 1 Year is very, very solid, very entertaining, very twisty. But he's a strange author because he's a touch of the absurd, but not in the sense of like a David Lynch absurd. So it's sort of hard to get the tone right.
Yeah, agreed, yeah. And there's always something that's kind of a little off.
It's the right turn from normal.
Yeah.
Before Garp, he had a lot of short novels that were a lot of little books about affairs and wrestling and bears.
Some poems.
Anyway, never saw Simon Birch.
Nope.
I refuse to.
Sure.
Number 9, Saving Private Ryan is still out in the theaters.
Yeah, wow.
Summer blockbuster. At this point, it's made $184 million for DreamWorks, its parent company. Number 8, One True Thing. I think a very nice little character study with Meryl Streep, William Hurt, Renee Zellweger, and the guy from That Thing You Do, whatever his name is.
Oh, is that
that guy.
Right,
Tom
Everett Scott. Tom Everett Scott.
There you go. It's just a nice little movie. It's like if a movie on the Hallmark Channel had like really good production values and a punch-up script and good actors and stuff is what this is.
Yeah.
I liked it.
All right.
I've seen it many times.
Seen it.
One True Thing.
Yep.
One True Thing.
That thing you do.
Number 7. There's Something About Mary still here in October.
It's hilarious.
There's still something about Mary.
His testicle stuck in his zipper.
The only movie I've ever gone to the theater, paid full price for, and walked out halfway and waited for my friends.
I was pretty offended with how funny they thought the handicapped guy was.
Yeah. It just seemed the mean to funny ratio for me was tipped in the wrong way, and I will fully admit...
So you missed Brett Favre.
I don't know how far I made it.
Okay.
But I did go out to the lobby, play video games, and sit in a chair and wait for everybody else to be done watching it. So. I was like, I just don't want to watch this.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it was, a combination of mean and gross.
Yeah, it is.
I've never wanted to revisit it.
No, sure.
I'm not sure those guys are for me.
No. Surprisingly, Stuck on You is actually kind of a sweet movie.
They have such a strange filmography because they started off Dumb and Dumber, right?
Yep.
And that was a huge hit.
Yes.
And
Kingpin.
Kingpin is a cult hit.
Yeah.
Then they had this, which was another huge hit.
Yep.
And then they've had 34 movies since then, none of which is very popular.
And then just the one directed Green Book.
Right, which is a series of failures.
Yeah.
Leading to his grave.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I have to say about Green Book. Number 6, Urban Legend. Never seen it. I would love to watch that for Shocktober.
All right, let's
put that on the calendar.
Pencil it in, yep.
Number 5, Ronin. Speaking of old guys from the 70s directing movies in 1998.
That's right.
Ronin. It's supposed to have some great car chases. Is that Frankenheimer?
Yeah, Frankenheimer. It's all real cars.
Real car chase.
Yeah.
No.
None of that CGI.
CG cars. Yeah, take that, Marvel. Number 4, speaking of real, A Night of the Roxbury.
Oh, yeah.
A hard-hitting story
right.
of brothers in the disco scene.
Exactly. It's it was too gritty for me.
Number 3, Rush Hour.
Oh, nice.
Starring Thor.
The soundtrack was a huge hit, and the movie was a huge hit.
Number 2, the second worst porn ever, What Dreams May Come.
Oh, yeah. That was a bad porn.
You know what the worst porn ever is?
No.
Deep Impact.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
There's not even any nudity in
I
that.
was still able to do the deed with
I mean, yeah.
you know.
We were 19.
Exactly. Yeah.
Number 1, with a bullet.
Yes.
Woody Allen's Ants.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Excellent.
Ants is the deer hunter to A Bug's Life's Apocalypse Now.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, Deer Hunter is considered a classic also. I don't know if one's considered better than the other. Is Apocalypse Now considered better than Deer Hunter?
I think it depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
But what I was referring to is that people referred to the Deer Hunter as Apocalypse First.
Oh,
because it took Coppola so long to make Apocalypse Now. There was another good movie that came out while he was making it. And Ants sort of scooped DreamWorks'
Ants
Bug's
is
Life.
A Bug's Life's pretty usually at the bottom of a lot of Pixar lists. So
It would certainly be at the bottom of a non-sequel list.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't get over how disappointed I was by Monsters University, though.
Yeah.
Because
pretty...
Monsters Incorporated is so good.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so
pretty good.
funny.
It's really
and
good.
Always makes me cry at the very end.
Right,
When he's
yeah.
in Boo's room.
Yep.
Oh, man, that is so good.
And then, Monsters... Yeah.
Monsters University is like, let's have these characters fart a lot.
You guys like college movie? You like 80s college movies?
Yeah.
Here's Pixar's take on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, we did not like 80s college movies that much.
Yeah, it turns out I thought I did.
Right.
I mean, I can watch A Real Genius whenever I want.
Exactly.
That new one, Onward, that's the Monsters University guy, and does not make me want to watch it.
Well, what are you going to do? Not watch it, I guess.
Or watch it sometime by force.
Yeah,
because I didn't
you'll
choose
see
it for family.
Exactly. So, Eric, but we're talking about The General this week.
Well, we haven't been yet.
No, we haven't. Is the story of a criminal in Ireland who basically we just kind of
self-described.
Yeah,
criminal.
he's proud criminal and proud.
Martin Cahill.
So telling a movie, centering a movie on a character that is, a lawbreaker, a scofflaw, a ruffian, is kind of a hard,
almost an anarchist.
Yeah, it's your anti-hero. It's hard to pull off very well. Mm-hmm. Either the general does pull it off, or you're like, yeah, this guy's just keeps breaking the law. He's no good. What's your take on the general?
Great either or, Gary.
Yeah.
I would say I think that like most either ors, it rides that line between I just wanted him to go to jail. I thought he should stop breaking the law.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was compelled by him as a character.
And how much is that, I wonder, is just Brendan Gleeson being a
compelling guy?
Yeah.
I mean, it is definitely Brendan Gleeson. He's a out of the gate star in this movie.
Yeah.
He is the movie.
And
it rests on his shoulders.
It is true.
There's hardly any scene without him in it.
There is. I don't think there is a scene without him in it. Maybe.
Other than when he's not himself when he's young.
Oh, that's true. You're right. Yeah.
But it really rests on his shoulders as an actor. And that makes sense because the movie is about how compelling a person this guy was to those around him.
Yeah, right. So,
and I think he was two things. He was charismatic and he was intelligent.
Yeah, and that's what they try to come off. And I guess that's where we, from an audience perspective, he impresses us. We like it. So, and we get a little bit of flourish there at the beginning of the movie. John Boorman's doing some nice cinema tricks with the, so right away, he gets shot.
Right. He walks out of his house, gets in his car, is immediately assassinated.
Yes.
We know where this film was going to end.
Yeah. And I guess it's good to get that out of the way. I think that was a good choice.
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, with biopics, which this certainly is,
yes,
you have a few ways you can handle it. And I think, in my opinion, the more you can mix it up, the better. Because it's so easy to follow the biopic tropes.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I feel like this fully... as a biopic... I like that the choices that he makes here.
Well, right, because it becomes because it gets mixed in. There's a little bit of a heist movie, and there's also a little bit of courtroom drama,
little bit. Goodfellas crime saga.
I definitely got a Goodfellas feel during
There's a few scenes that are like a little tip of the cap. The old Marty Scorsese.
Yeah, exactly.
Marty.
Yep. I got that feeling.
There's even a great gag late in the film.
Yeah, there's some humor in the movie. We got to talk about that.
One of the guys hugs Martin.
Oh, yeah.
And he hugs him, and then he's like, come on, we're not Italian.
Yeah, exactly.
That was good.
It's good stuff. And then, and then it goes back to, we see Martin as a kid stealing something.
It basically lives in what seems to be the projects.
Yep.
of Ireland, and he sort of builds a personality and a reputation on stealing, and it seems like very basic sort of Aladdin-style stealing
he's
food
gonna say
for
one,
his
yeah,
family.
He's carrying a pig. That actor, have you seen the movie The Butcher Boy?
I haven't yet.
Okay, so that's the same actor in The Butcher Boy,
Another
the young
is a Neil
Martin
Jordan
Neil
joint?
Jordan joint, yeah. And so
So he's stealing potatoes, basically,
Yeah.
you know, donuts, whatnot, for his
pig.
family. A pig,
Yeah.
a whole pig. That
Yep.
slows him down enough that he's caught.
yes,
And he goes to a boys' home, Catholic boys' home.
yeah, right. I mean, that's a
Where everybody apparently is being raped.
yeah. He's getting they're getting spanked.
But I
first.
think it's insinuated that most everyone is
Well,
raped at some point.
exactly. But Martin does not.
He punches the priest
Exactly.
right in the kisser.
That's right.
Played almost for laughs.
It almost
The priest
it's-
fights back. It's a strange scene.
It is a strange scene.
He gets out. He's back to the projects. He is not stereotypically depressed to live in the projects.
No.
He loves
Yeah,
it there. He
it's-
treats it like a point of pride.
Right, and so
These are my people.
That's the first thing where we see that he, from a character standpoint. So they're tearing down the projects. They're kicking everybody out. He's like, I'm not leaving, and he finds a way to.
Right, so it's very much like the old man in Up.
Yeah, exactly.
To begin with.
Exactly.
He's
Pixar again.
There's some really hilarious physical comedy, or I'm not sure if you call it physical comedy, but like sight gags where there's like cranes knocking over concrete walls, and
Yep.
it cuts to him sitting on a couch in the same building,
Yeah,
watching
exactly.
TV.
Right. Yep. and then we cuts again to his wife. He's married. He has kids. She's like, we can't do this. All right.
And he's like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah. He's
Which is a great metaphor for his whole life.
exactly
Right.
And which they say it later. It's like criminals like us. We shouldn't be married. We should not be married and have families.
But I think that he is a big idea guy. He's a dreamer. He sticks to his principles. And I think one of the things
And again, that's also sets the stage because this is early on, and we see him stealing for his family.
Mm-hmm.
We see him thinking, he's like, "Look, we're the little people, and you're kicking us out of our home." Right. So that kind of puts us on his side early on, which is, I mean, John Boorman knows how to make a movie. He made Deliverance. He made Excalibur. He did make one of the worst movies ever in Exorcist II, The Heretic.
He made Point Blank. That's a good
Right.
movie.
Yeah. So
Actually, Excalibur is pretty good.
Excalibur is pretty good. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember enjoying it pretty much.
I mean, for the time, it
Yeah.
takes the Arthurian legend pretty seriously and very adult.
Yeah,
There's sexy
remember
Helen Mirren in there. and-
There's a sexy Helen Mirren in everything Helen Mirren's in.
Well, duh.
So,
But anyway, yeah, you're right. I do think that we're meant to be on his side. I think perhaps I come away with it like feeling very much both ways about it. There's a Robin Hood quality.
Yeah.
There's a us against them quality, but there's also a bit of hubris.
right. Well, and exactly. When by the end of it, so the movie's his rise and his fall. We already know he falls. He gets shot at the
Right.
very beginning, and so we know his fall. But by the time the end, I mean, I think they drag out his fall a little too long because
I would say that they could have dragged it out as long as they did, and made it more compelling.
maybe that's
Because
it.
for example, the fall at the end of Goodfellas is maybe more compelling.
Oh yeah,
with
it's
the
so
cocaine
kinetic. So
and
how can it not be?
paranoia and the
yeah,
helicopters
exactly.
and all that stuff.
Harry
Whereas
Nilsson playing on the soundtrack.
Whereas in this, I feel like it's really a stubborn refusal to accept reality.
Right.
He becomes embroiled in both the IRA and the UVF.
Right.
And he really prides himself on not being related to either one of them.
Yeah.
Which is a hard place to be in 1980s Ireland.
Right, exactly. The
you're
troubles were full-fledged.
I'm neither nor, but I'm a criminal.
Yeah.
And so he pulls off a massive jewel heist, which is, really exciting and interestingly coordinated. That whole sequence is very interesting.
Right.
Another heist that takes place after that, it takes place with some Dutch art that is in some rich guy's house.
Pretty
basically.
clever.
Sort of interesting Ocean's 11-ish kind of stuff going on there. I enjoyed that whole sequence of the movie quite a bit.
Yep.
Having built off the character and showing everything that's going on with him.
Because that scene is pretty good too. Because he's casing the joint, then his buddies come in to also case, and that's kind of funny. They're like, $5, you're stealing from us in order just to get into the museum. And they're like, what do you think? You're like, oh, that's a pretty extensive security system. And he's like, I already got it figured out. I know how we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So
I think it's got a lot of things. It's got the biopic. It's got the heist movie. It has this bizarre three-way romance between him and his wife and her sister.
Yeah, right. Which
is
strange.
Is depicted as naturalistically as it possibly can be depicted, but also sort of half-heartedly addressed.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of drama missing from that relationship.
I would think so. Both those actresses from The Commitments.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I recognize them.
Yep.
There's open marriages. It's a thing.
Right, but sisters.
I feel like we're maybe missing out on some of that story.
Yeah, I think so. It was kind of... I think... So this is... Even at the beginning of the film, it's like everything you see is true. Boorman writes that on the film. And I think... So it's like, well, we're going to put this in. Again, you have the problem of wanting to tell the same story. Right. It's kind of...
it's hard to leave that part out.
Yeah, if that's the case.
We talked about the downfall. A lot of the downfall happens after he steals the priceless works of art, and Ned Kenny, played by John Voight in the film, is able to finally mount the amount of resources he needs to basically follow Martin around 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So the final third of the movie really is Martin being tailed like within feet.
Yeah,
everywhere he goes by cops. They're standing
harassing
around,
him,
they're peeing on him, they're throwing things at him, they're killing his pigeons.
Yes.
On the flip side of that is Ned Kenny himself, John Voight, who, from Deliverance days, friends with John Boorman, is great in this.
Yeah. Because they have a relationship,
right?
And
it's one of those things. It's almost like your brother-in-law that you just hate, but you have to see him 3 times a year at holidays,
right? Because one thing that was set up, what was that? Was the first heist that you don't even?
It's when he buys a house.
He's buying the house. Yeah, he goes. He deposits some money to get a cashier's check, and then he leaves the bank, and his associates go and rob the bank. But he goes in and talks to the John Voight, the chief of police, inspector, and while the bank is being robbed, so his alibi is set up.
He sets this up as a pattern where he can go and talk to, Kenny every time he needs an alibi.
Right.
He's in his office.
Exactly. He's like, I wasn't doing it.
Right. But he was just a regular old officer at the time when Martin was getting thrown out of the project.
Yes.
He rises up in the ranks partially because of his relationship with Cahill. And sort of they have a play off of each other. Brendan Gleeson is obviously the star of the show. John Voight is really good and restrained. A good Irish accent, I thought, too.
Yeah.
Believable. It's a shame about his politics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Same with, speaking of Goodfellas. Casino has James Woods, who
Yeah.
is also kind of a scumbag these days. Although, his character in Casino is appropriate.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But John Voight does great work here. I mean, obviously he's a good actor.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Deer Hunter.
Yeah, right. He's had a long, lustrous career.
It's a good movie. It's got a lot going for it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Actually.
I enjoyed it also. I was looking through it came about as I was basically like, oh, this is a week before St. Patty's Day, right? We're releasing this podcast. We have a tradition here. We've done the Crying Game. We've done the Commitments. We do Irish films around March. So I had to find one. And General came up. I was like, let's do it. Let's talk about it. I hadn't seen it before. And, but it was enjoyable. It's a little long because he refuses to
2 hours long.
Everybody's like, look, they found the paintings. You're done.
Right.
You're done. And he's like, I'm not done, and
Yeah, the end goes on for a while. I think that is how it went for him.
Sure.
I think he was killed in 94 and his fame of all the heists was in the 80s.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of the way it went for him.
Sure. Again, and so you're trying to be true to the story. And he loses his his right-hand man. His right-hand man's like, look, I can't do it anymore. I'm out.
It becomes, the pressure put on by the man or the system becomes intolerable by a lot of the guys, and one of the guys in the crew is killed. There is a pretty brutal, it's not a very violent movie. There is a brutal pool table crucifixion.
Yeah, that was a bad, because it needs even like, oh, you survived. I guess you didn't do it, so he's wrong.
That's the flip side of torturing somebody to get evidence.
Yeah, exactly.
I liked the realism of that.
Yeah, I would have thought there would have been more blood. I mean, there was a kind of a wide shot where he's on the pool table, and you're like, I think there would be more blood, but then they do a close up of the hand, and it's pretty bloody. But
well, it brings us to the cinematography. It's like not black and white, but
it was black and white. I read
black and white.
Yeah, I read that in the theaters it was originally broadcast in black or shown in black and white. Then when it came onto American television, projected in black and white. But then when it came on American television, it was color.
Oh yeah, but it's not all color. It's like 20% color.
Yeah, exactly. It's
color.
because it's almost
odd.
like they filmed it knowing it was going to be black and white, but they still used that kind of color film. I don't know how it was done, but
it's sort of a strange thing.
And it kind of goes with just kind of Ireland at the time, talking about how the Commitments was kind of just a gray, and this is kind of the same time frame.
I won't say that 1990s cinema makes me want to live in Ireland.
No, exactly.
Not selling it.
People think of it as a gray.
It's like a dump.
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
Violence. There's
people are poor.
Yeah, it's just awful.
There's transvestites who are going to seduce you.
Well, I'm not against that.
No, sure.
I did have the closed captioning on, and God bless closed captioning.
Yeah, right.
It really helps out with this film. But the thing that made me laugh was from time to time, instead of a word, it would just be in parentheses, inaudible. Like even the closed captioning person gave up.
I don't know
on
what
the
they're
general.
saying. I'm not sure.
But there were times where I felt I gave myself a little pat on the back because I knew what he was saying, even though the closed captioning person didn't. So
That's how
it's like a little game.
how you think of when you start watching it. Your ears like, oh, I'm not going to understand. But as if you 5 minutes in, you're like, okay, no, I've adjusted.
Yeah,
I understand him.
Yeah,
So
it's good.
Yep.
I liked it.
yeah, it's a small movie, but it tells a story. It tells it well. It's Brendan Gleeson is a charismatic actor, and he's able to carry it.
John Boorman won Best Director at the 1998 Cannes Film Festival.
And I think so. You make some choices. You get those pan wipes when he's going during the time frame when he's jumping up, and then when he's doing the thieving at the beginning, you got those fade to blacks, and you fade back in.
The pan wipe, is that whenever he's visiting with people in prison at the beginning?
Yep.
And go back and forth, and it jumps in time.
Yep.
And
The
conversations.
The camera
I was
pans
ready
and
for the
wipes,
whole
too.
movie to be like
Yeah,
that.
it was
Like,
pretty
it
flashy.
drops
And then
the stylistic stuff from the...
it's real flashy at first, but then it settles in.
Sort of
and
settles
just,
in, yeah. Agreed. Another interesting factoid about this is it depicts fairly interestingly somebody with diabetes, which you don't see in movies that often.
Which again is like, did that need to be part of the movie?
I mean, I think it speaks to a metaphor about his idea of invincibility.
Right,
You know,
sure.
I can do whatever I want and get away with anything, but he's immortal.
Right,
After
yeah,
all,
no, your
kind of a
body is,
thing.
and he does that. He says about his body's betraying us.
I mean, he can rob the place the IRA can't. He can sleep with his sister-in-law.
Right.
He can,
Hey, he can
steal Vermeers.
intimidate witnesses to get off and tell his lawyer, hey, here's the law that we get the mistrial on.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that you could... There were times where I was very put off by him as a person.
Well, right, when he
And
is
I think it's
threatening that, yeah, that is
easy to say... Why make a movie about this guy? Why
Right.
lionize such a villain?
Yeah,
But
yep.
I think the investigation of why he was so compelling to so many people is probably the answer.
Yeah.
At the same time, like, the cops hate his guts, and you can't really blame them.
No, yeah, he's a bad guy.
He's a
always,
really bad guy.
He's always covering his face,
Yeah.
you know.
With his hand.
Yeah, exactly. Or
Even times
a
where
hoodie.
he has there doesn't make sense at all to cover
Yeah,
his face.
exactly.
Like
Why-
in court.
why
like
are you
they're
covering your
talking
face?
to him using his first and last
Exactly.
name,
We
and he's
know who
responding
you
with his
are.
hand over his face. So odd. He must have done that in real
I
life.
think so.
But yeah,
All right.
late Boorman, thumbs up. Basically, the new Hollywood, the 70s, rears its head in the late 90s here. And
Well, yeah, and I
scores a
guess-
triumph.
And just to speak to that, like, Boorman is not Irish, but he moved to Ireland after or even before Excalibur.
Oh, that's weird.
You know, he moved there, and he was living there for 20 years, and he actually, so the gold record, like, Martin Cahill stole Boorman's gold record.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was.
he robbed Boorman's house.
Yes.
And that's depicted in this film.
Yes.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yes.
Why did Boorman have
A gold record,
record.
for the soundtrack to Deliverance.
Oh, ding 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 ding.
Yeah, exactly.
Ding. Dueling banjos. Here's John Boorman in 1974. He's a dashing chap.
Dashing chap.
All right, we got a star system.
Yep.
Right. We got Admiral.
Okay, that's your 4 stars.
Rear Admiral.
Okay, 3
3
stars.
stars. General.
2 stars.
Is it General below an Admiral?
I think so. I don't know. I don't know.
1 star is a private.
Okay.
Obviously.
Yep. But
Lieutenant
I don't think they
would
even
be
have a
2 then,
star. Yeah, maybe.
1 star private.
What are you going to give the general, Eric?
I would give the General solid 3 stars.
Solid 3 stars. Yeah, I'd give it 3 stars also.
Right across the
I
board.
agree with that. It's an enjoyable movie.
Joe Bob says, check it out.
All right.
Hey, thanks for joining us on another episode of my so-called podcast. I've been Eric Spiegel.
And I've been Gary Linton.
Write us a letter. Rate us. Review us. Or just keep listening. Subscribe. We appreciate all of you out there in podcast land. And we will see you in another 2 weeks for another trip back to the 90s. Goodbye.